Welcome to Puvanur RTP Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RTP Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are now in level 5. We are reviewing RTP concepts. Today we are going to see Tisra, Triputa, Thalam, Rendukalai approach on RTP. Before I get into the class, I will start this class with a Thirukkural. Vagayaraச் சூழாது எழுதல் பகைவரை பாத்திப் படுப்பது ஓர் ஆறு. What is the meaning of it? நன்று ஆராய்ந்து பாராமல் செயல்பட ஆரம்பிப்பது பகைவரை வளர்க்கும் வழியாகும். If you do not do a sufficient research before doing any activity, you are actually trying to build an enmity camp stronger. You might expect some enemies in the future. That's what Thiruvalluvar mentions in this Thirukkural. So you have to look at doing certain things after doing a proper research, and that's important. With this good thought, I'll enter into the class. We are now in RTP learning sessions. The last two classes we completed a review of Adi Thalam and Rupaka Thalam, Rendukalai, and different placements, how a Pallavi is typically formed. Very simple patterns I've explained. Those are the basis by which you can build more building blocks to gain your expertise. Over the next two classes, I will cover more samples, more examples, so that you can master all these in the coming months, and then we will get into the complex Pallavis a little later in advanced level 6. Today we're going to start off with Tisra Triputa Thalam, 7-beat cycle Rendukalai. So Tisra Triputa Thalam, typically you need to put like this: 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That's the first part. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's a 14-beat cycle. So for summum to summum, if you want to make a simple Pallavi, you can make a first part is 6 aksharas, second part is 8 aksharas. You can make a very simple arithmetic of first part is 6, then the 8 you can divide as 3 and 5. 3 is a connector and 5 is a uttarangam. So typically if you want to sing a simple Pallavi, tha, ka, tha, ka, dhi, na, tam. Tha, tha, ka, dhi, na, tha, ka, tha, ka, dhi, na, tam. Tha, ta, ta, ka, dhi, na, taka, taka, dinna, tam. Ta, taka, dinna, 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 ta, ka, tha, ka, dhi, na, tam. Ta, tha, ka, dhi, na, tha. A simple phrase, when you tell it in the second column, the third column, and when the words come into the Pallavi form, it looks very beautiful. So the Pallavi should be viewed as an X-ray in the Tattagaram form, And then the Tatakaram should be told in these formats. I have taken the simple example how to go about in 3 speeds. This again also we can try it in Tisram, Kirkala Tisram, Melkala Tisram. All gamut of possibilities are all possible. For this, for you to understand this, you need to first of all listen to that Pallavi and see what the other persons are all doing. And then use that concept and idea and try to repeat this phrase in those formats. Then you will get the hang of it. And then you can approach for these sort of accompaniments. So that is for the Samam to Samam Pallavi. Now let's look at a Kalanam. When you have again we will go with examples. When you go for Kalanam, the first half becomes 5.5 beats. One half akshara is lost. Then what remaining you are left out with out of 14 beats. 14 minus 5.5 is 8.5. So which means you have to play for 17 aksharas. So the first 5.5 beats, you will choose a phrase of 11 aksharas. Tatakadina, tadina, tadina. Tatakadina is 5. Tadina, tadina is 3 plus 3. 5 plus 3 plus 3 makes it 11, which is 5.5 beats. Then the second half of 17, you divide as connector 2 and 3 5s, 15. 2 plus 3 5s is beautiful symmetry in the Uttarangam part, because if they can form a word of 3 words, something very similar pattern of Tadiketatum, Tam, Tadiketatum, Tadiketatum, Tadiketatum. When it comes as a word, it looks beautiful. So the Pallavi goes like this. Tatakadina, tadina, tadina, tam. Tadiketatum, tadiketatum, tadiketatum. Tatakadina, tadina, tadina, tam. Tadiketatum, 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 tadum. So you can land beautifully for the Kalanam. So the phrase formulation is for 5.5 beats, and then for 1 beat you have the storm connector, and then the remaining you have it for Tadiketatum 7.5 beats. It's for Tadiketatum, 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 which is 15 aksharas, nothing but 7.5 beats. That is for Kalanam. The next one is Arayadam. Arayadam is nothing, very simple. You can again to explain it. When you push one finger, the remaining part is 5 beats. So when you want to play for the remaining, you are left out with 8 plus 1, 9 beats. So 5 plus 9 is 14, because you are playing for the Arayadam. When you are pushing one finger for Tisra Triputa, you have to left out with 5. Ta, ta, ka, dhi, na can be the first part of Purvangam. And then you are left out with 9 beats. What all you can play? For the 4, you can play Tham. Tham with 4 carveys. Ta. The connector can be for 4 beats of carvey. Then the phrase Uttarangam can be Tha, Di, Ki, Ta, Thum. 5. So 4 plus 5, 9 sits for the later half, which is the connector on the Uttarangam. The first part is Tatakadina. Let's see the full Pallavi now. Ta, ta, ka, dhi, na, tam. Ta, dhi, ki, ta, tum. Ta, ta, ka, dhi, na, tam. Ta, dhi, ki, ta, tum. Tat, dhum, tat, dhum. Tontaka, dinna, din, tat, tam. Tontaka, dinna, din, tat, tam. Tatin, tat, tam. Tatin, tat, tam. So this is the Pallavi for Arayadam for Tisra Triputa Thalam. The last one we will see. Now the last one is Mukaladam. So when you say Mukaladam, it's 4.5 beats. 1.5 plus 4.5, 6. Then you are left out to play 9.5, because 8 plus 1.5 you have to play. 8 aksharas is there at the back side of Tisra Triputa, and plus 1.5 is the Mukaladam space. So you have, if you have to play for 9.5, which is you have to play for 19 matras. The 19 matras division is 4 plus 5 into 3. 4 plus 5 into 3 is 19 aksharas. Now the first part for 4.5, Tatakadina, takadina. 2.5 plus 2, 4.5. Taki, Tatakadina, takadina, tam. Tadiketatum, 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 Tatakadin, takadina, tam. Tadiketa, 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 takadina, takadina. Tadiketa, 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 tonta, tadum. Tontaka tontaka dina din tatam. Tontaka tontaka dina din tatam. Tontaka tontaka dina din tatam. So this is the Pallavi for Mukaladam. So I've given you the ideas of Tisra Jadi Triputa, how to take a simple Pallavi for Samam and Araidam. If you look at it, Araidam and Samam are both one and the same, only thing because it's one whole number push is happening. For Kaladam and Araidam, for Kaladam and Mukaladam, which is an odd factor, because 1/4 and 3/4 is a very odd number, and for this you have chosen a Madhyamakala phrase. Tatakadina takadina tam. Tatakadina tadina tadina tam. You use a 5 and a 6 combination to give the ruggedness of the odd phrases. And you have to suitably put the words into the Pallavi. So that is the Pallavi for Tisra Jadi Triputa Thalam. Let us look at the perspective of 9 aksharas and Misra Jambai. I'm going to handle it, the 9 aksharas and Misra Jambai I will handle in the next class. But before I conclude, I also wanted to give you a semblance of how to play for Ganda Ekam. Ganda Ekam is again, Ganda Ekam is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now let's look at how we can do a Pallavi for this one. It's a, when you, Ganda Ekam, when you take it as a multiple of 2, Retakalai, it is 20 beats. The first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Since it's Ekathalam, you don't have the flip side. You have to repeat the cycle again. So you should have 2 rounds of 10 beats now. Now for Samam, for Ganda Ekam, the phrase, the first half I will choose is ta, ki, ta, di, na, ta, ki, ta, tam. So takita, taka, dina, takita, tam. I'm using a combination of 3, 4 and a 3. 3, 4 and a 3. And then the later half, I'm splitting the 10 into 2 karvais and takita, tadikita, tum as my uttarangam. 2 as a karvai, tam. Takita, tadikita, tum. That's the second half. So the Pallavi will become like this. Takita, takadina, takita, tam. Takadina, takadina, takita, tam. Takadina, tam. So this is the Pallavi. So when it looks so rugged, and when the words come, it becomes much more beautiful. But I have to show this as a part of Pallavi. Then only you will be able to understand how this, the X-ray form, gets the reality with the Pallavi and the Satagaram and with violin and the music, and it gets a better shape. So that's the basis of Pallavi. So I'm giving you more examples so that you will appreciate this Pallavi things. Now let's look at a Kaladam for Gandajadi Ekathalam. The phrase what we can choose is Kaladam. When you have to use it for 9.5 beats, because half a beat goes for the Kaladam push. The phrase I'm choosing is tak tak dinna tong, tak dinna tong, tak dinna tong. That's the phrase I'm going to use. The Pallavi format will be like tak dinna tong, tak dinna tong, tak dinna tong. That's the first part. The second part will be for 18 aksharas. 18 aksharas is how you are going to play tong, tadi, ketatum, tadi, ketatum, tadi, ketatum. So because it comes for the Kaladam. So you have the left out is, if you have, it is 21 aksharas. Because tong is 21, is the remaining part you have to play for, after you play for 19 aksharas. The first half is takadina tong, takadina tong. Takadina is 19, takadina is 4, tong is 3, takadina tong, twice you are repeating. So 7 into 2 is 14, tatakadina is 5, so 19. For Kaladam, 19 akshara phrase is the first part, that we have defined. The second part is 21 aksharas, 19 plus 21. Our total is 40 for Gandajadi Ekathalam Rendikale. Because 20 plus 20, 40 are considering 2 rounds. Out of 40, 40 minus 19 is 21. In 21, the breakup what you are giving is 3 plus 18. The 18, that is the breakup you are giving. Okay, once when you do that breakup, then it comes for Kaladam beautifully. Now let's tell the whole Pallavi. Takadinnatam, takadinnatam, tatakadinnatam, tadi kettatam, tadi kettatam, tadi kettatam, takadinnatam, takadinnatam, tatakadinnatam, tadi, 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 kettatam, tadum. So that's the Pallavi for Gandajadi Ekathalam Retakale Kaladam. Now if you look at the Arayadam, you can use the simple base because Arayadam is a wholesome number. Tatakadina is 9 aksharas. Ta, after one beat push. Ta, ka, di, na, ta, Dina can be the phrase, a simple phrase for the Arayadam phrase. Then the remaining is you have 10 plus 11 aksharas. You have to, the division is Thang, Takita. 11 can be split as 3 as a connector and 8 as a Uttarangam. So 3 plus 8 is 11. Ta, ka, dina, thang. Ta, di, ke, ta, tum, ta, ka, dinna, thang. Ta, di, ke, ta, tum, dum. Tang. So the idea is this. So you have to ensure that you have to go with the right speed and understand the speed and then follow the Pallavi, and for that you have to understand this base. You can't play anything different from the Pallavi. That's important. Let's look at the Mukaladam now. Mukaladam is 1.5 beat is gone. You have to play for remaining 8.5 beats. The takita thong, tatakadina. 8.5 is nothing but 17. Takita thong, 6 plus 6, 12. Tatakadina is 5. 12 plus 5 is 17. So, takita thong, tatakadina. So, you formulate the Pallavi first part. Now, you formulate it. Now, the remaining part is you are left out with 40 minus 17 is 23. The breakup is you give a 2 and 7 into 3, 21. You can play a 7 into 3, 21. 2 plus 21 is 23. That will be your Uttarangam. This is the formulation of Pallavi. So, takita thong, tatakadina thong, di ketatum, di ketatum, di ketatum, takita thong, tatakadina thong, ketatum, di ketatum, takita thong, tatakadina thong, di ketatum, tadi ketatum, tadi ketatum, tadum. That's a Pallavi for Gandajadi Ekam Mukaladam. So we covered the aspects of Tisra Triputa, Samam, Kaladam, Arayadam, Mukaladam. We also saw examples of Gandajadi Ekathalam, Rendikale. We took a count of 40. How to go about for Samam and Arayadam or wholesome numbers. We made a simple Pallavi. Kaladam and Mukaladam or odd numbers. We made a Madhyamakala Pallavi, the Purvangam, the connectors, the later half, how we calculated. A lot of aspects are here. I want you to understand all this. Next class, I will cover more interesting aspects in Gandajadi Triputa Thalam and Mr. Jambathalam. We will see few examples and we'll conclude this topic of RTP. I'll conclude this class with a Thirukkural. Seiyattakka alla, seyakkadum, seittakka, seyyamai yanum kadum. What is the meaning of it? Oruvan thanadu nilaimikku thagada செயல்களை செய்வதாலும், செய்யத்தக்க செயல்களை செய்யாது விடுவதாலும், கேடு அடைவான். It is very, very important. If whatever is B is position, you should do what he is supposed to do. You should not do what he should not do. That's important. And that's what Thiruvallur mentions and stresses in this Thirukkural with this good thought. I'm concluding this class. The next class, I will give more examples of miscellaneous thalas like Misra Jambai, Misra Triputa, Sankirna Triputa, how to approach an RTP concept so that you can get familiarized with all these learnings of RTP and try to see on out of 35 thalas, out of 72 thalas, you can do it as a homework and see how you can build the capability of having phrases for different positions and trying to have formats of different phrase assemblements. The first Purvangam, the Karvai and the Uttarangam, having differently how you can enable it beautifully. With this, I'm concluding this class. I'll see you in the next class.